What we want to explain today is basically how McLeod's organic agricultural product is actually processed and put through. And Clayton is one of the farmers who's outside of Toowoomba who uses it on his paddocks and so forth. So he may just explain today exactly what we're actually doing to process that for organic products across Australia. So tell me, Clayton, in terms of what's the process that's happening today?
Well, what we've got here is we've got the manure that's come out of the cows, and it's dumped there and mixed with chook manure that's come off an organic chook farm, and that's been composted there roughly 7 to 8 months. And then it goes out of that pile there as the loader picks it up. It goes through the screener, then it goes back into a clean pile and a dirty pile. So all the dirty stuff goes back in and gets processed again in another 12 months. And we'll add some more stuff with the dirty stuff, and on goes the process. And then the clean stuff, it'll stay there for another 2 months before it's actually being used. So it's about a 9 to 10 month process.
And tell me, Clayton, does that actually really help you? Where do you actually put that in your actual property itself?
Well, it'll go onto the paddock to grow the feed. It goes back to the cows. That goes back into manure, that goes back into that to feed the cows again. It all keeps going around. There's a big chain reaction. So it never stops.
And in the end of the day, Clayton, everything actually stays on your property, doesn't it? And environmentally, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And for organics, there's no chemicals and nothing that, you know, as we know, with people getting sick from taking too many chemicals in their products.
Antibiotics.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's the one we try to stay away from.
So in terms of what has this process done for your cattle and also for the produce that you grow on your land?
Yeah, well, this stuff here, without it, this farm wouldn't be viable. It just would not be viable at all, because as the more you take out of the crop, and the crop takes out of the ground, and you don't replace it with anything, well, you're going to end up at a halt. The chain's going to have a break in it.
Yep.
So until we actually make the chain a complete link, it'll go on forever.
So in theory,
man dies.
You've actually found that chain and that link, which is actually making your yield on your property double to what it would have been, and you're getting above that break-even point.
I wouldn't say it's doubled our yield, because you can actually go to conventional fertilisers and you can double your yield in 20, over 2 or 3 months. But you're not sustainable.
Okay.
It's not a sustainable industry because it hardens your ground and it does a lot of other things that we're just finding out. And as you come back to Roundup, well, it's salt-based, isn't it?
Yep.
So what are we trying to get out of the water? We're trying to get the salt out of the water, and then we're spraying it on our paddocks.
Yep.
So you're headed. In time, it will take a long time to do it, but you are actually poisoning the soil. Where this way, we feel that the chain will be there for my kids, his kids. After that, it'll just go on forever.
Yep.
That's what the whole thing is to leave it there for the next generation.
So when you were talking to me last time, what is it about the terminology of organic fertiliser? What's that going to do for the industry in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
Well, organics in Australia is relatively new. We're nothing like Europe and other countries that have been in it for years and years and years. But when we come to a point of having to be a sustainable industry and not just ride off what we've done, because organics have sort of more or less only been here for the last 15 years. So we're still riding off the goodies that were there before. But now we're not allowed to put none at all, ureas or any of those other man-made products on this soil. It's either got to come out of the soil naturally, or the only other way is to make a fertiliser like this. And that is the only other way I can see the organic game to being sustainable, is with a product like that.
So tell me, Clayton, with the products that you supply in terms of your cattle, where do you supply those to?
They all go to coal, all the cattle.
And that's all organic itself?
Yeah, everything's organic.
100%?
Yep. Yep. We've been organic for over 10 years now. I think it's 11 years.
So you're probably one of the market leaders in terms of the understanding of organics and fertilisers and what it can do for your property?
Well, we've probably come to a point that, how would you put it? You'd say we've made all the stumbles.
Yep.
And we're just starting to pick ourselves up again now.
Excellent.
You know, we've fallen down. We've exported meat everywhere and everything, and we've just come home and we've just decided that this is the easiest way to do it. This is the only way, and it's got to be a sustainable way. And if it's not a sustainable way, well, organics has got nowhere to go.
Okay.
It will come to a head, you know. And I think this is a sustainable way of doing it. Yeah, with a product. You've got to have a product. This is the only fertiliser that we can use.
And that's the McLeod's organic fertiliser?
Yeah, well, I don't know any other organic fertiliser on the market. I really don't. If I did, it'd probably be better for me just to go buy it. It'd probably be cheaper sometimes. But at the moment, and that's how we got into making this, is there was no other organic product. There was a lot of other products out there that they were saying were organic, but they couldn't actually say that the organic chook manure come off an organic chook farm. The organic cow manure come out of an organic cow.
Yep.
There's no break in the chain here. It is 100% organic from woo to go. The feed that's fed to the cows is 100% organic. The feed that's fed to the chooks is 100% organic. The hay that's fed to the cows is 100% organic. So there's nowhere they can say, oh, you're using a non-organic grain or you're doing this. That's going to come through in the fertiliser. No, there's none. It's 100% organic from woo to go.
And tell me, Clayton, are there any strict guidelines in terms of the utilisation of the word organics for products in the marketplace? Can you explain that at all?
Yeah, well, we haven't actually got that. Hopefully that's going to be the next step in a few years, that you see organic written on a lot of products that is not organic. But if you have a look underneath the organic, you should see a little number there that'll give you a certification number that we've all got. And if you can't provide that number, you are not organic. Yeah, because you've got to be audited every 12 months and you go through a process to make sure everything's right. You know, we're not cheating the system.
Exactly. I bet you there's a lot of people out there who are saying they're organic, but they're not really, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. Especially butcher shops.
Yeah.
They'll put organic because they say we don't use any growth promotion or we don't use any antibiotics, but it doesn't start there by just saying, right, we'll knock out all the antibiotics, we'll knock out all the growth promoters. I'm organic now. Because you're still spraying your urea on your crop, and all that ends up going back through the cow.
So tell me, Clayton, out of most organic farms, cattle farms in Australia, how many true organic farms are there, eh?
Oh, I couldn't answer that.
Is there a handful? Or?
Oh no, we'd be up now in the thousands.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, it's starting to grow bigger now, and as it gets bigger and bigger, to source feed is a lot easier.
Yep.
Like it is a lot easier to source feed. Like 10 years ago, it was very hard to be organic because you couldn't get the products you needed. Where now there's more of this stuff sort of starting to happen, where people are knowing that we're not a sustainable industry if we don't do this.
Yep.
We've got to put something back into the country if we're going to keep taking from it. You can't just keep taking from the cherry bowl.
Yep.
Because there won't be any cherries there on Sunday.
Well, Clayton, I just want to say thanks for explaining that to us, and we greatly appreciate your time, and we'll get back to it, okay? Thanks,
No
Clayton.
worries.